You know, she disappeared from Jess's house that night, and I figured she was off just doing some dope somewhere.
What kind of drugs?
I just didn't have no reason to question or even, she kept me in the dark.
Taylor Wright spent years as a police officer before becoming a private investigator in Pensacola, Florida. She was a mother fighting through a brutal divorce and custody battle over her young son. She was also, by all accounts, a good friend, the kind of person who trusted deeply. And that trust is exactly what got her killed. In 2017, Taylor handed $34,000 to someone she considered family. Money meant to help her fight for her child. What happened next is a case study in betrayal so calculated, it's almost hard to believe. Except the evidence doesn't leave much room for doubt. This one's going to stay with you. If you're new here, hit subscribe. We're just getting started.
You sit near that.
That's fun, huh?
Yeah.
Damn. A lot of shit's gone down in here, right?
Yeah.
I haven't been in this room in a bit. You ever interrogate anybody in here?
Years. I mean, I've been with people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been a long time now. I left in like 2012.
What caused you to leave?
I had a use of force incident, and the sheriff didn't see eye to eye. Everybody else backed me up. But
Really?
yeah, the sheriff. Yeah.
Somebody died?
No, I just was coming into jail, and I had a guy resisting me. He basically tenses up. I had him under his arm, tenses up on me, and kind of turns at me, and then I take him down, and had to have some investigative. Had to have some stitches, and FDLE backed me up. I mean, everybody, but the sheriff just didn't.
Jesus, dude.
Yeah, that's it, dude.
I didn't think they gave a shit about that.
I had an exemplary career. Nobody ever complained. Just the sheriff had a problem with it,
He
and
must have. Did he have something else against it?
no, he just really no law enforcement experience. You know, he just shit he don't know. You know,
What is his background?
Air Force.
He was never a cop.
No, and I mean, I appreciate what he did in the Air Force. You know, to anybody in the military, but he's never been a cop ever. Never.
Well, how can you be the sheriff if you're doing
Anybody can run.
Well, I understand that, but practically speaking, it's like judge with a cop.
Yeah. He's a nice guy. It just
Is he?
yeah. He's always been nice to all of us.
So that's Zack MacArthur, Ashley's husband. And right out of the gate, he's doing something interesting. He's not asking questions. He's telling stories about himself, about his old job and some use of force incident, and how the sheriff had it out for him. Here's the thing about Zack. He was a corrections officer. He knows how interrogation rooms work. He knows the game. And yet he's sitting there chatting like this is a reunion. That's either genuine ignorance or a performance. Either way, it tells you something about the marriage. Two people who both worked in law enforcement, both familiar with how investigations unfold. And somehow neither one saw this coming? We'll see.
All right, well, I appreciate you coming in here. Obviously, you know what this is all about. We're trying to get you in and out as quick as we can. I know you got things to do, and I know you've got things to do.
Yeah, I actually have to be in court at 1:30, but if we get past that, I'll figure something out.
Okay.
I know that we were late, so.
All right. Well, just if I lose track of time, just let me know. And
I know.
give me a little heads up.
Okay.
We're going to kind of go over just what all information you may have for us to help this situation
No
out.
problem. Whatever you mean.
So I'm just going to jump right on into it.
Now watch the detective's move here. She's making him feel like a witness, not a suspect. Board meeting at 30. Sure thing, we'll get you out of here. That's textbook. You give someone the impression they're helping, and they start talking like they've got nothing to hide. What's fascinating is, Zack takes the bait immediately. He's not lawyering up. He's not asking what this is about. He's scheduling around it like it's a dentist appointment. For a guy whose wife is about to be accused of murder, that's either the confidence of innocence or the comfort of distance. Either way, the detectives just got exactly what they wanted. An open door.
Can you tell me how you came to know Taylor?
Through working PI cases.
Okay. And when was that you met her?
I don't know. It's probably been over a year, maybe. She was working. She and I both were working with Greg Sievers. We worked some cases together, and then I worked maybe a couple for her.
Out of Pensacola here?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, but we worked in Santa Rosa, and wherever the cases were. That's it. We just became friends.
Okay. And in that time, did you guys ever have a falling out or?
Never. From doing this job for so long, Taylor was not she just wasn't, like, I would just pick up little lies from her. So, and stuff just didn't start seeming right. And she would disappear for days. That you couldn't get her on the phone. Greg and I would try to call her. You couldn't get her on the phone.
And there it is. Zack's framing Taylor as the problem. The lies, the disappearing, the unreliability. Here's what he's not mentioning. Taylor was in the middle of a brutal custody battle for her son and trusted Ashley with $34,000 for legal fees, money Ashley never passed along. So when Zack talks about Taylor being hard to reach, that's a woman drowning in a divorce while her so-called friend was quietly robbing her. The manipulation wasn't coming from Taylor. It was aimed at her.
She'd come over to our house every now and then. She met my wife. They became friends. And I remember asking my wife, I'm like, you think she would go in the bathroom for a while? I mean, longer than normal. So I started figuring out that maybe she had a drug problem. I don't associate with that. I'm still trying to get on with an agency. I don't go around that. For years, I didn't talk to my own brother because of the lifestyle they live. Like, I just don't. I mean, you know me. I don't associate with people that. So I cut ties with her. I took her off my Facebook, and I quit talking to her.
Okay. When's the last time that you think that you talked to Taylor?
I know when I was in D.C. in April or March, Ash and I were in D.C. and she was wanting to go in our house to either do a report or print something out, and I was like, no, you're not going in our house. I mean, I just had bad feelings about the girl. Something, and I didn't want her, going in our house if we wasn't there. And Savannah was still there with a friend, so I told Savannah to lock the door because a lot of times we just left the door unlocked at the house, and I didn't want her to just go on in there. So, and then the last two texts that there was probably a few months back, I don't know how many months, she texted me one time, hey, can you call me? I never responded to her. And then one time she texted me and said, hey, I got a job somewhere, and I never responded back to her. So I cut ties.
He cut ties with Taylor because he suspected she had a drug problem. Meanwhile, his wife was bleeding Taylor's bank account dry. Ashley worked as a crime scene technician. She knew how evidence works. She knew how investigations unfold. And yet she kept siphoning money from a woman going through a custody battle like no one would ever think to check the finances. Zack's sitting here playing the moral high ground about who he associates with, while completely blind to the fraud happening under his own roof. That's not caution. That's convenient ignorance.
Well, I mean, I'm sure now you've read the news and everything,
Yeah,
so you know.
Shit's flying everywhere, and I've read all kind of, yes.
So you kind of know the date that we're talking about. Mm-hmm. Have you had a chance to go back and pinpoint where you were on the 8th of September?
I can't remember shit, but I'm trying to do the very best I can so I could tell y'all the best I can. I know I ate at lunch at the seafood. I went to the bank yesterday to pull my statement. I know I ate lunch at the seafood place at 9 Mile in Pine Forest. I ate there. And I remember eating by myself, and I remember Ash not being able to make it because she was tied up with work. So I ate by myself. I don't know if it was before or after that. I went by a friend's house, Jennifer Rowlands.
Back up, just say, how did you end up paying? Did you pay for cash or did you use
my debit card? That's generally what I use is that one. That's the only thing I got is that debit card.
And who is that through?
Wells Fargo.
Okay. So you had to use your debit card there?
Yep.
Okay.
Now, what were you doing up in that?
Look at him trying to reconstruct September 8th like it's a puzzle he genuinely wants to solve. Pulling bank statements, checking receipts, remembering he ate alone because Ash was tied up with work. Here's the thing. Ashley wasn't tied up with work. September 8th, 2017 is the day Taylor Wright disappeared. While Zack's sitting at a seafood restaurant swiping his Wells Fargo card, his wife is burying her best friend under concrete and potting soil. He's building his own alibi without even knowing he needs one.
Do you know anything about this money that Taylor had given you all?
No, absolutely not. She's never given me anything. Absolutely, but I mean, I've read online or whatever what you're talking about. No, I've never got anything like from that. No.
Okay. Do you know anything about your finances?
No, to be honest, I give her when I work a case or and I got a settlement from my attorney, I hand it straight to Ash. She takes care of everything.
How much was that check for?
One check was almost 50 and the other check was almost 10, so almost approximately 60. I handed it straight to her.
You didn't ever, you don't want...
I've never even logged in.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Never looked on the account or gone to an ATM and pulled up account balance or anything?
No, the only time I've ever went to an ATM, like if I got a new ATM card, because I've had some that went bad or whatever, and no, never. I don't mess with it whatsoever. She always did.
And those checks that you said that were yours that you signed over, when was that?
One was in March and the other one was in July.
The big one first or the small one?
Yeah, big one first and then the small one.
Okay. And who was the attorney on that?
John Gann.
Is he here?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Do you know anything about your bills as far as how much you owe on credit cards or anything like that?
She pays everything. She takes care of it all. Every single bit of it.
Is there any indication that you guys are in financial trouble?
No, I thought I'm living off my settlement I just got, and plus she works every day. I mean, I haven't worked in a few months doing the PI stuff, but I didn't know we had any financial problems at all. No, I mean, I just got $60,000. I don't.
Have you checked to see if that money's
From
still
what
there?
I understand, everything's gone.
Where do you think it went?
I don't know.
When did you come to find out that your money or the money that was in your account or y'all's account was missing?
I guess after all this investigation started in the room, I don't know who said that, hey, all the accounts are dry, and I hear she's got like 13 accounts. I didn't know that, But I mean, she runs her business, so I don't know. I don't have any clue about our bank account. She pays everything, every single bit of it.
Do you know how much money she makes?
I heard her mother say one time that her mother said 45. Her mother told my buddy Durwood. Durwood told me that she made $45,000. I mean, I thought she did well. We've never really talked about it, I just thought she did well with that business. They've had that business forever, and that's it. I feel stupid now, not
$60,000. Handed straight to Ashley without ever logging in to check the balance. This man gave his wife complete financial control, and she used it to drain every account dry, including the $34,000 Taylor entrusted her with for attorney fees during that custody fight. Zack sitting there learning in real time that the life he thought he had was a fabrication. 13 separate accounts he didn't know existed. A wife who made $45,000 a year somehow burning through 6 figures. The math never added up, because Ashley made sure he'd never do the math.
This Brandon guy, I mean, let's be honest here. They had a relationship.
I didn't know they had a relationship. I thought they were just hooking up every now and then. I didn't know they had a relationship. I talked to him before. He told me that she was lying to him, she was lying to me, and I thought they were done. And then he called me when I was in D.C. and said that, was telling me, hey, she got arrested and that they were, I guess they were still talking or whatever, and I had no idea. Mm-hmm. I mean, I didn't care if she, just was hooking up with somebody, but I mean, I wouldn't want her to be in a relationship with nobody,
Did he tell you anything about anything that she had bought him?
Yep.
What did he tell you?
He said that she bought him a motorcycle.
A motorcycle. Ashley bought her side piece a motorcycle with money that wasn't hers. And here's what makes this worse. The detective already knows about every purchase. She's not asking because she's curious. She's asking to see if Zack will fill in the blanks honestly or protect his wife. This is classic Reed technique. You don't ask questions you don't have answers to. You ask questions to measure how much the person in front of you is willing to reveal. Zack's passing. He just doesn't know it's a test.
I was so shocked when he told me that she had bought, and I didn't know whether to believe it or not, and I still don't. It's hard for me to believe and swallow that she would buy him something like that, and it hurts me, I don't remember him saying anything else. Not that I remember.
Have you talked to him any since then?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
Have you heard from any of her friends?
No. He did. He said he was going to come to talk to the sheriff's office. Maybe he called me twice. I don't remember. It was either once or twice. I don't remember. I was very, very upset. So I really don't. It was either once or twice. And he said the sheriff's office wanted to talk to him, and that he had hired some attorney. And I'm like, all right,
When was that?
I guess the evening or afternoon that she got arrested.
Now, how did you find out that she got arrested?
I think her mom called me.
Okay. Do you remember what time of day that was?
It was during the day, because I think it was during the day, and she said she had come home and then they come back over there and picked her up.
Did you know that she was going up to PPD?
Yeah, she said she was going to get her phone back.
Okay. When you find out all this happens, what'd you say?
I was just in shock. I didn't know what to do. I was in shock. I didn't know. I felt helpless, and I didn't know what. I was just, man, I couldn't eat. I was just, it's my wife, I love her very much. I didn't know what to do. I felt helpless.
That helplessness in his voice is real. And I think that's what makes this so difficult to watch. Because Zack MacArthur is experiencing something most people never have to. The slow, horrifying realization that the person you built a life with is a stranger. Ashley was a crime scene technician. She knew exactly how investigations work and how evidence gets processed. She had every advantage a killer could ask for. And she still got caught because GPS data doesn't lie and concrete purchases leave receipts. The system she understood became the system that buried her.
Ed, did you ever think about maybe what happened to Taylor while she was missing?
I honestly just figured out. I was just thinking. I knew that she had that drug problem. I really thought, and I remember her.
Did you assume that, or you knew it?
Her girlfriend told Ash that she did. Now that I remember her.
This Cassandra girl?
Yes. So I was like, damn, I knew it. I'm never wrong judging people, ever. I was good at this job, and I was. So Cassandra told Ash, and I was like, I knew it. I knew she had, and I don't know what it was. I don't know what she was on, whether it was coke or heroin or what, and because whatever it was kept her, we wouldn't be able to get in touch with her for days or whatever. Greg couldn't get, and he would call me and have me talk to her. I'm like, no, man, I ain't talked to her either. And Greg had heard she had a dope problem too. But Cassandra told Ash that, and I remember thinking to myself, I knew it. So Taylor was strange. She would just disappear. She disappeared from Jess's house that night, and I figured she was off just doing some dope somewhere.
What kind of drugs?
I think her girlfriend said cocaine.
As far as your truck is concerned, the 250, is there any reason for blood to be in that vehicle?
No. Maybe deer blood in the back, or pig or something like that. That's it.
On the inside?
Absolutely not. No.
Okay.
The drug rumor. This is the story Ashley planted to explain Taylor's disappearance, and Zack bought it completely. But here's what the clip doesn't tell you. Taylor Wright was a former police officer, fighting tooth and nail for custody of her young son. She wasn't some unreliable addict. She was a mother in crisis who trusted the wrong friend. Ashley needed people to believe Taylor vanished on a bender so nobody would ask harder questions. And when Zack mentions blood in his truck, deer blood, pig blood. The detective's already thinking about forensics he hasn't considered yet.
I mean, I'm asking you, did you kill or participate in the death
Absolutely
of?
not. I would
What
never.
is this question?
Okay. What ahead?
Did you kill or participate, or do you have any knowledge?
Zero, Jason. Absolutely none. I don't want to be nowhere near it. No, nothing involved with it. Nothing. I know nothing about it.
What have you ever heard anybody mention of a black guy who goes by the name of T or anything of that nature?
Mm-mm.
Nothing.
No.
All right. You bring your phone with you.
Yeah, it's in the Jeep.
You have a problem if we download it?
I don't have a problem with anything. No, I don't. I mean, can you do it like quickly?
We'll do it if you're giving us permission to do it. As soon as we walk outside, I'll have our guys start dumping.
Zero, Jason. Absolutely none. That's not a denial. That's a performance. And here's what makes it land differently now that we know the full picture. Zack genuinely believed he was clearing himself. He handed over his phone without hesitation. He cooperated like a man with nothing to hide, because he had nothing to hide. The jury would eventually agree. Ashley acted alone. She was convicted of first-degree premeditated murder in 2019 and sentenced to life without parole. Zack was never charged. He walked into that room a husband and walked out a widower to a marriage that never actually existed.
Get it back to you.
What do you think?
Let's talk about that.
Okay.
So, I mean, I will tell you, I mean, we do have your phone records.
Yeah,
and
I figured.
everything
I'm
of that
good.
nature
I
already.
figured. Yeah.
So, and I mean, bottom line is I'd either, help exonerate
Sure.
him or not. So,
Jake, I have no involvement with this whatsoever.
well, Zach, that's the whole idea of getting you up here, because I know you're in a tough situation because your wife's locked up
Right.
for a murder
Right.
charge right now. So, but like I tell everybody that sits in these chairs, to understand why somebody died, you also have to understand how they lived and who they hung around with, So that's the whole idea.
I get that.
So-
I don't have no problem.
That line from the detective hits different when you know the ending. To understand why somebody died, you also have to understand how they lived. Taylor Wright lived with integrity. She served as a police officer. She built a career as a private investigator. She fought like hell for her son during one of the ugliest chapters of her life. And she trusted the wrong person with $34,000 meant to keep her family together. Ashley didn't just take the money. She took the future Taylor was fighting for. Then, she took Taylor.
Yeah.
For you?
Yeah, he built our deck.
Okay. How much was that? Do you recall?
I don't know. Ash took care of all that.
Okay. What do you think a deck like that would cost?
I don't know. I don't know. He did a good job though.
He did?
Damn good job.
He did.
And he all by himself. So
It took him 9 days. That's pretty damn
I don't
good.
know how many days it took him. But it's not. I mean, he did a good job.
Well, I mean, I'll tell you this just to have a ballpark. I mean, it was $7,000 in materials,
For the deck?
and he said that he was paid by y'all $4,000 to build it. So $11,000 in a deck. I mean, that's a big old deck, man, and it's raised. I mean, wood's expensive.
No, yeah, I had not. Wow.
I guess that's the reason why I'm telling you a few of these things is just, I don't know, maybe you were just oblivious
I just didn't have no reason to question or even. She kept me in the.
$11,000 for a deck, and Zack had no idea. This is what financial abuse looks like from the inside. Ashley wasn't just hiding purchases. She was constructing an entirely separate life, using money she stole from Taylor Wright and siphoned from her own marriage. The detective isn't asking about lumber prices because he cares about home improvement. He's watching Zack realize in real time that every upgrade to his house was paid for with blood money. And Zack's defense? I just didn't have no reason to question. That's not stupidity. That's a man who trusted his wife the same way Taylor did.
What do you think happened to Taylor?
I couldn't tell you, Jason. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, nobody deserves to ever get anything happen to them like that whatsoever. I don't know, buddy. I don't know what happened to her.
And, I'm asking you, as this investigation continues, whether it's text, phone records, computers, financials, is there going to be anything that hems you up or
No,
ties you
absolutely
to that?
nothing. Nothing. None. I'm not that guy, man. You know, and you, Jason, goddamn, you know me.
But if you're in my shoes, this has to be done.
I'm right.
It has to be
I'm
done.
right. Y'all, I mean, I'm not that guy. I never have been. I'm never gonna be. I mean, there's applications on my table at home, and I've been going to interviews trying to get back in law enforcement. I'm not that guy. Never gonna be. I never have been. I'm a good person, man. I don't hang out with dirtbags whatsoever. You know?
Well, not just being involved in the actual murder, but as far as, afterwards.
Helping conceal.
If any person in this world was like, hey, Zach, come help me do something, I would run from that motherfucker as fast as I could. I don't want hell no. No. I don't break the law. I don't.
Feelings aside.
Just logically. We didn't just fucking show up at Britt Road.
I can't see her doing something like that. I mean, she's super intelligent. You know, she's got a
Master's degree.
Yeah, or is it master's or I don't know, one of the two. And that's just sloppy. I mean, that's sloppy shit. That's sloppy. I can't see her doing that. It's super sloppy.
I'm not that guy, man. Here's what's fascinating about this moment. Zack brings up that he's been applying to get back into law enforcement. He's sitting in an interrogation room while his wife is suspected of murder, and he's talking about job applications. That's not deflection. That's a man whose entire identity is wrapped up in being one of the good ones. And then he says the quiet part out loud. That's sloppy shit. He can't fathom Ashley doing this because it wasn't clean enough. Not because it was wrong. Because it was amateur.
Do you know the passcode to any of those phones?
No. I think, if I ain't mistaken, she just used her fingerprint.
At any time, did you ever see her with more than one cell phone?
No. Never.
As far as, and I know we're skipping around, and I apologize, I'm not in order.
Y'all doing a job trying to figure this shit.
She just used her fingerprint. That's the answer. He doesn't know his wife's phone passcode. AshleyMacArthur was a crime scene technician for years. She processed evidence. She understood digital forensics and chain of custody. And she kept her husband locked out of everything. Phones, accounts, entire financial systems he didn't know existed. Zack keeps insisting Ashley is smart. He's right. She was smart enough to compartmentalize her entire life away from the one person who should have seen it coming.
Sunday morning when you woke up, or whenever you woke up?
Saturday?
Well, Saturday was the wedding.
Oh, okay.
Saturday was the wedding, the 9th.
Yeah.
Okay? And she leaves. You get taken home by Millstone.
If I remember right, she just got home late, and then we slept. If I remember right, we probably slept in on Sunday.
So you're not 100%, but you think she was there?
I'm sure she came home late.
Do you recall what y'all did Sunday, or what you did or she did?
Sunday? I don't, buddy.
Okay. All right.
I mean, usually our usual routine was maybe would sleep in, go get lunch, you know, which is a normal routine.
Does Ashley get paid from a trust fund also?
I don't know. I don't know.
I bet there's a lot of questions you wish you would have asked now.
Oh my God, dude. Y'all have no idea.
So, all right, I can't think of nothing else. If we want to go out and get that phone, let me get a form real quick.
Okay.
And then, I mean, we'll give it, as soon as it's done, you tell me how, or well, you're just going to come back up here so we can give it back to you. Okay. All right. Let me grab a form
Yeah, as soon as
real
y'all
quick.
can. I need my laptop for work and just trying to get other jobs.
What kind of laptop is
Yeah,
it?
we have to call
It's
it.
my
Right, fine.
my HP laptop.
HP.
Black, silver, what?
It's a fucking Star Wars laptop, okay?
Let me grab this form real quick.
A Star Wars laptop. That's what he's worried about. His wife is the prime suspect in a murder investigation, and Zack MacArthur needs his HP Star Wars laptop to find work. Meanwhile, investigators are building a timeline that places Ashley at hardware stores, buying concrete and potting soil in the days after Taylor vanished. GPS data from her phone puts her at the burial site. Financial records show Taylor's $34,000 flowing into Ashley's accounts and right back out again. The evidence isn't circumstantial. It's a receipt book for premeditated murder.
And your video cam.
My video camera
Okay.
that y'all got yesterday.
Yeah, all right.
And the SD cards that go with it. You know, I use that for work.
As soon as I can get back to you, I'll let you know, okay?
Okay. All right. What about my miscellaneous keys and stuff that were in my truck? Gonna get any of that back?
Were they on the keychain or was it
Probably
just
laying
in the truck?
my truck. Just laying in the truck.
Okay. We should be able to get that back to you. In all honesty, I mean, the truck should be done. I would think maybe tomorrow.
I've got to split because I got a judge freaking out.
Yeah, man.
So we're no more questions. You're going to sign that. You're going to give him the phone, and we're good to go.
You swear in the firm, she swear you in?
No, I haven't done it yet.
Okay.
Do you swear everything you told us was the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the
Absolutely.
truth? Okay. Do you want to walk him out?
Yeah.
And I'll,
Okay, cool.
I'll work on this.
All right, we'll talk, brother.
All
All
right,
right, thanks.
Let me,
Right
2
here.
seconds. Let me grab some keys so I can get back in.
Where's Dawn at?
I don't know. We didn't tell anybody you were coming up here. We got everybody
Yes, that's
kicked out, so.
Thanks.
Yeah. This right here says you do not have to consent to a search of yourself or your property. If you do consent to such search, any evidence observed or obtained by such search can be used against you in a court of law.
And that's how it ends for Zack MacArthur. Signing forms, asking about his miscellaneous keys, getting sworn in like it's a traffic stop wrap-up instead of the moment his entire life collapses into evidence boxes. In 2019, AshleyMacArthur was convicted of first-degree premeditated murder and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. She will die behind bars for what she did to Taylor Wright. The jury deliberated for less than 3 hours. When you have GPS data placing someone at a burial site and surveillance footage of them buying concrete and potting soil in the days after the victim vanished, that's not a case. That's a confession written in receipts. But here's what stays with me long after the verdict. Taylor Wright was a former police officer who became a private investigator because she wanted to keep helping people find answers. She was fighting through a brutal divorce and a custody battle for her young son. She trusted her friend with $34,000, money meant to protect her family. And that friend took the money and then took her life. The betrayal wasn't impulsive. Ashley didn't snap. She calculated. She planned. She used her training as a crime scene technician to try and cover her tracks. And when Taylor started asking questions about where her money went, questions any reasonable person would ask, Ashley decided murder was easier than accountability. Taylor's son will grow up without his mother. He'll learn someday that the woman who killed her was someone his mom considered a friend. That's the weight this case carries. Not the interrogation footage or the courtroom drama, but a child who lost everything because his mother trusted the wrong person. What the investigators did here matters. They followed the money. They pulled the GPS records. They didn't let Ashley's law enforcement background intimidate them or slow them down. They treated the evidence like evidence and let it speak. That's how justice gets done. Not through dramatic confessions, but through patient, methodical work that makes lying impossible. Zack MacArthur was never charged. The evidence supported what his behavior suggested all along. He genuinely didn't know. He walked into that interrogation room as a husband and walked out as someone whose entire understanding of his marriage had been fiction. That's its own kind of sentence. This case is a reminder that betrayal doesn't announce itself. It wears the face of friendship. It asks for favors. It builds trust, specifically so it can exploit it later. Taylor Wright did nothing wrong, except believe in someone who saw her vulnerability as an opportunity. So if you take anything from this, verify, question, trust but confirm. Because the people who betray us rarely look like strangers. They look like friends. Taylor deserved better. Her son deserved better. And the only small comfort is that the woman who did this will never walk free again. If cases like this one stay with you, where someone you'd never suspect turns out to be the killer, I've got another one you should watch. A detective sits down with someone he thinks is just a witness. By the end of that conversation, he realizes he's been talking to the murderer the whole time. I'll leave a link. It's worth your time. Rest easy, Taylor. Justice found you.